The older you get, the more you realize that Mrs. Doubtfire is not a comedy. It's actually very sad and depressing. This movie touches on very serious topics: divorce, broken homes, family court. It ain't funny about those things. Yes, the movie does have funny scenes, but some of the movie scenes had my anxiety through the roof, and the end of the movie had me in tears. If you're new here, I'm Les. I love movies, I overanalyze movies, and I can't help it. Hit the like button. We immediately find out that the dad is a struggling actor / voice actor who's a decent dad. And I say decent dad because he loves his kids and he has good intentions, but he's more of a friend to his children than a father, if you know what I mean. Here's an example. He literally brings a petting zoo to his home for his son's 12th birthday party without letting the wife know. The mom comes home from work and catches him dancing on the table with his 12-year-old son. Grown man, by the way. And obviously she cuts the party short, kicks all the little children out, and they have a huge argument. And during this argument, we find out this type of situation has been happening for years. He does spontaneous childish things and she ends up having to clean it up, which in turn makes her look like the bad person just because she's being mature and an adult. And I like how the movie shows that having a two-parent household is not just enough. It has to be balance and structure. Both parents have to play their part. And right now, from what we see, it looks like the mom is doing the majority of the work and the dad's pretty much just chilling and doing whatever he wants to do. She has a stable job, so she most likely is the breadwinner, paying all the bills. And judging how childish the dad is, she most likely is the disciplinary too. She's low-key a single mom with 4 children. And let me stop right there. I am not on nobody's side. I'm just being observant. I'm seeing what's going on, okay? I can be completely wrong, but I don't think I am. Things go left. She ends up telling the dad that she wants a divorce. Surprise, surprise. The dad moves in with his brother, and it looks like the brother is in the movie business too. He's like a makeup artist or something. I don't know if that's important, but I just wanted to tell you. The very next scene is the family court scene, and we find out that due to the circumstances of him not having a stable job and him not having a stable home, he only gets to have his kids for 1 day out of the week. Just one. And of course, the dad is not happy about that. And he expresses it and it does nothing. The judge ended up giving him 90 days to get his stuff together so he can at least have split custody. And then the next scene, we see him saying bye to his children. Very sad, a very sad moment. So let me get this straight. In the first 20 minutes of the movie, he lost his job, getting a divorce, lost his home, and lost his children. We are 20 minutes in this movie and I haven't laughed yet. This is not a comedy. This was supposed to be funny. We have good news though, everybody. We got good news. He ends up getting a job at a studio. Not to be a voice actor or actor. He works in the shipping department. Okay, that's kind of good news. The better news is he found him an apartment. Now the movie tries to portray the apartment to be a terrible apartment, but I don't see it. It looks good to me. It's dirty, it's messy. Of course, they clothes everywhere, but it's not a bad apartment. I would live there. And I'm sure you would too. The kids end up coming over. They end up having a little dinner. You know, he can't cook, so he ordered Chinese food. And this scene right here is the most important scene of the movie, actually. The mom comes to pick up the kids, and we find out that she's actually looking for a nanny, you know, since she kind of works full time and she just lost her only help due to the divorce that she asked for, so she only can blame herself. And of course, the dad is like, why not me? I can be with the kids. You don't have to pay for a nanny. And, you know, she don't really trust because the dad has shown for years that he's childish. So that's not gonna happen. But she ends up telling the dad that she's trying to put an ad in the newspaper for a nanny. And while she's not looking, the dad changes the phone number that she was about to put in the newspaper, changes a couple of numbers, you know, so nobody will be able to call her or contact her for the job. And so he'll have a better chance. And he proceeds to use his voice acting skills, his great talent, to call her nonstop for a couple of days using different voices, and each of the people that he's acting like sound more terrible than the last person. And he does this because his plan, we find out, is to be the nanny. And when he eventually calls and sounds like the best candidate, he'll win because the other people sound terrible. And this is crazy because this is actually a manipulation tactic, and it's called false dilemma. That's crazy, making other options seem terrible so you have no choice to pick this specific option. Have you ever heard it before? I never heard this. Let's continue. It ends up working, and he ends up making a fake name, and he sets an appointment to meet the children. And of course, he can't look like himself when he meets the children, you know, obviously. So the beginning of the movie where he moved in with his brother for a couple of weeks, it looks like, the brother is into makeup in the movie industry, so he goes to his brother. His brother turns him into a woman. He meets the children, and he gets the job. You can tell that the dad is impulsive and he's spontaneous. He's clearly making this up as he goes, as if there isn't any consequences. Well, surprise, surprise, the consequences are on the way. Actually, one just pops up. As soon as he makes it home, he's met at the door by his court liaison. And a liaison is pretty much somebody that is ordered by the court to find out where he's working, make sure he has a stable home, and she's supposed to see him every Monday and Friday. I guess he forgot. And there's a couple of times in the movie where he has to be two people at the same time. And this is one of them. But the second time is even worse. But let's talk about this one for a second. Since the liaison caught him as an old lady, now he has to be himself and the old lady while she's inspecting the apartment. Now, my anxiety was, it was going up and down because I'm like, is he going to get caught? Is he not going to get caught? Spoiler alert, he didn't get caught, but he almost got caught. It was a success, but you can tell he didn't enjoy that at all. Now, as Mrs. Doubtfire, the nanny, he wants to keep the job, so he goes above and beyond, and he learns how to cook. He starts to clean. Funny enough, he starts being the structure that the kids needed in the first place. He disciplines them. He makes sure they do their homework. He's literally finally being a dad, but most importantly, he's taking stress and weight off the mother's hands. But it gets kind of weird because at some point, the mother is talking to Mrs. Doubtfire about her ex-husband, which is Mrs. Doubtfire. And the dad finally gets to hear the mom's perspective without the yelling and argument. She makes a lot of sense. And it finally hits him because I guess since she's talking to somebody else instead of him, she's being 100% like vulnerable and actually saying how, and it makes sense. I'm just gonna say that. And you could tell she doesn't really hate him. They just grew apart eventually, which is sad. That's not a good thing. And the only thing that he has left is his children, and that's why he's fighting for them. So he's not a creep. The movie lets it be known. He's not a creep. He's not a weirdo. He just is a desperate dad trying to get his kids or see his kids just a little bit. But the movie takes a slight turn. And when I say slight, I mean slight. We find out that the mother is dating, okay? But not an average dude. She's dating James Bond. And James Bond is rich in this movie. I don't know if that matters, but I feel like I had to say it, so I said it. And during this movie, I realized something. I don't know if you realized it, but I realized it. It seemed like the mom is getting blessed left and right. At first, it was the dad living stress-free, chilling, being spontaneous, enjoying life, and the mom was doing all the work. Now, the dad is doing way more of the work, taking care of the children, making the mom happy, doing all this stuff. And the mom is able to chill and kind of live stress-free. That is wonderful. The tables have turned. But we all know this nanny thing could not last forever. And spoiler alert, it doesn't. Almost immediately, his son catches him in the bathroom, peeing standing up. So he finds out that Mrs. Doubtfire is indeed a man. And he runs down and tells his sister. And then they find out that his dad. And yeah, they're creeped out, but they're kind of happy because the dad been there the whole time. So it's a weird... I guess they don't know how to handle it because they are children, but they are excited to see their dad. Obviously, they didn't tell the little one because, kids like that, they can't hold secrets. She would have immediately told the mom that, Mrs. Doubtfire is a man. And I got to tell you, we're an hour into this movie and I still haven't laughed. This is not a comedy. It's more like a thriller. And I know I've said a lot of bad things that happen, but the next scene is actually something good that happens. The dad is in the studio playing around, voice acting with some toys. And funny enough, the owner of the studio catches the dad using all his voices, playing around, being funny. And the owner thinks it's hilarious. I don't think it's funny. I don't think this movie is funny at all. Maybe I'm the problem. Anyways, the owner wants to talk to him more. So they set up a date to go to a fancy restaurant so they can talk more about his future in the business. Great news. But there's one issue. It's the mom's birthday and she wants Mrs. Doubtfire to go to that same restaurant at the same time that he has the interview with the owner. It's time for him to once again be two people in the same place. My anxiety cannot take these scenes. The first one was bad, but this scene right here, to me, it was worse. I'm talking about he was going back and forth from the owner to the family, to the owner, to the family, going into the bathroom, changing back, sneaking to table to table. It was so bad that eventually he sits down at the table with the owner as Mrs. Doubtfire. But we all know the dad is very spontaneous. He knows how to think on the fly. He ends up acting like he did it on purpose. So he ends up telling the owner, meet your new host for your children's TV show. And before we can see if the owner actually likes the idea, the boyfriend of the mother is over there choking on something that he ate. And without thinking, Mrs. Doubtfire / the dad gets up from the table and he runs over to save the boyfriend. He successfully helps the boyfriend, but when he gets up, it's revealed that he is not Mrs. Doubtfire, he is the dad. And the mom is pissed. She's pissed. She's thinking about all the conversations he's had. She's thinking about her ex-husband dressing up as an old woman. You could tell she's mad. And now we're back in the family courtroom and it's not good. Due to the situation, he can now only see his kid once a week with supervision. But at one point in the courtroom, he stood up and expressed how sad he was to not be able to see his children. And it was sad. But the judge didn't buy it, since he tricked people into thinking he was an old woman for weeks. Of course, the judge was like, no, you're just a great actor. I don't believe you. You could tell that the mom felt bad, though. She knows the man is not a creep. She knows he has good intentions. He just wanted to be around his children. She knows that. I'm sure to other people like us, we think he's a creep, but we find out that the dad ended up getting the job as a host for the children TV show. The kids and the mom end up seeing it on the television. And the other good news is the mom ended up letting him see his children again. You have to watch this movie because I guarantee you're going to be in tears. The ending of the movie is very sad. I'm talking about the music they use, the dialogue, the scenes, they just hit so deep because they're just talking about the reality of this situation. And the movie really didn't have a good ending. It didn't. It's literally nothing funny about this movie. I'm sorry.